Welcome back to the Finca.
Welcome back, everyone.
It's not raining.
It's not, amazingly.
Unfortunately, last night it did rain, and it rained, and it rained, and it rained.
It should be the last of the rain, but...
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Not like him. But it highlighted a bit of a problem for us. So in this exciting episode, we are going to be cracking on in the utility, the old Corral.
A very, very unique utility room. Not everyone's got one of these, you know.
But to start with, we've got a bit more pressing matter, and you'll explain more.
Yeah, let's go and have a look. So this is the back door in question. At the bottom there, if I can point at it, I did drill a channel in this, cut a channel in it and made a hole for the water to run out of. It works very, very well, but last night it was so wet and battering down that door, it was running in, because it's a design for the sill there is flat and I should have put a slope on it. My own fault, I made it, I'm to blame. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to put a strip of wood on it at an angle to send the water away and put another weather seal behind that. Anything that runs down the grooves should come out in the channel, no problem at all. But yeah, we want to get it done because it came in and we don't want water getting in the house. So I'm back in the workshop again. I've got this. Oh, hello Whisker. That's Whisker jumping off the mezzanine in here. She sleeps up there. If you can see the profile on that, I cut it off something else to make another slanty profile, probably for the stable door. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to actually put this on the thing. I'm just going to rip it down so it's flat there, and then put a weather seal on the back of this. It'll sit up to the door, and then fix that onto the step, he says. Right, I've just cut it to length. I'm just going to check it, and then I'm going to, this edge here, I'm going to cut this off so that's at a right angle to the bottom, so when it sits on, it'll sit nice and flush up to the door, and as I said before, I can put a weather seal on it. So I'll go and check it and then go and rip it down. Right, so there it is. Can you see that? Ish. That way actually it's going. So the door will sit up against here, and that'll sit on the sill. I'm gonna put a big piece of weather strip along the bottom, and I'm gonna screw it to the step. I'm not gonna glue it because I suspect it may become a sacrificial piece over the years. If I glue it, if I ever need to change it, it's going to be really difficult to get off. But if I put a thick weather seal along the bottom and screw it down, then if it ever needs changing, I can just change it. So I just need to pile it. I'll probably put 3 screws in it. I've got some nice black ones that we use that are quite ornate, so I'm going to use those, and yeah, pilot them out so the screws don't split the wood, and go and get it fixed. So there it is, big thick weather strip on the bottom, big thick weather strip on the back, and I'm just going to pilot it and go and screw it to the door. Well, to the door frame actually, not the door, the frame. Right, so there we go. Once again, needs oiling, but so does the step anyway. Right, let's crack on. The joys of living on a building site. Right, first thing we need to do before we start making a hell of a mess in here is get rid of all this lot, cover the troughs up somehow, probably empty the end one. A lot of this stuff will go in the kitchen. However, more joys of living on a building site is we've accumulated all this lot. It's all tools and bits of stuff, even light switches, light fittings from doing upstairs and various other jobs. So I think the first thing we need to do is get this lot cleaned out, put away, tidied up. It's a job I've been putting off for ages because it's a mammoth one, but it's got to be done. This is actually for the flue in the apartment. Remember I said I'm going to move it, put it straight up through the roof. It's a flashing sheet with a seal through it. Comes highly recommended. It's supposed to be very, very good. We'll be fitting this as soon as the roof dries out, which shouldn't be too long because it's not supposed to rain now. So excellent. I'll find a safe place for it. Right, what we've done, we've sorted everything into boxes. This is all assorted tools. This is all plumbing stuff. That's all electrical stuff, and that's mainly electrical stuff, mainly cable. The only tool I'm going to need for a little while is this. And it just dropped in. Big shifter. So we're leaving him out. Right, we can cart these round to the workshop now. Get them put away on the mezzanine in the respective places.
And there it was gone. Doesn't that look better? Give it a good hoover. This we're going to keep, I don't know if we mentioned it before, and put get a nice upholstered cushion and make a seat out of it, and then Andy's going to make a nice chunky wooden table. We've already got the wood for that. So yeah, and whilst we've been tidying and putting things away, we found a bit of scaffold pipe that Andy's cut down at some point, which this is the door stop. I'm sure you've seen that, and we've been thinking about how we can store it when we're not using it, when it's not in place, because it just ends up on the kitchen worktop and I have to keep moving it. So fits absolutely perfectly in there. How about that? So needs tidying up, and we're going to paint it black and then probably fix it to the back of the door so that when this is not in use it can just slot in there like that. And we found two outdoor a double socket, because Andy mentioned the other day we've got lights in the courtyard now, and we wanted an outdoor socket. So there we have one. So there you go. You see, it's worth tidying up occasionally. And now we can move all the stuff out of the corral into here and get cracking in there.
Right, so now we can start on this lot. Insulated and go in the garage, in the workshop up on the mezzanine. This is a box of jars, been donated by various people for our olives and things. This is a big bucket of olives, that can go in the kitchen. This is ironing apparently. We don't do much of that. And various other bits. The sink can go in the loo at the side where it's going to live. So yeah, let's get it shifted, then we can start some work. Right, there we are, done. It's just by magic, just like that. The next thing we've got to do is, we don't want to clear these out because there's tons of stuff in them, but I've got a board here. I'm going to drop that over the top. Hopefully try and attach it to these. That was not very good. So we can lift it up and drop it down to get in it. Temporarily, of course. Right, we're done. Look at that, mate. We can even access the cupboard underneath. Might leave it like that permanently. For temporary things, it'll be in for a few years. That's covered up. All we've got to do is empty all the crockery out of here, because we don't want to cover it. Because when this stuff starts coming off the wall, I'll probably break it. But after we've done that, we're ready to go. Right, so we're ready. All the stuff's cleared out of the way. Big shifter's plugged in. The trestle's in place. I've got my clear safety goggles, because I don't think it's a bit dim in here, dull, dumb, in here for safety. Sunglasses. So got my gloves, got a dust mask just in case. I'm not sure that I'm going to need one because it's actually quite damp. As we said, that's the problem. That's why we're getting it off, because it does attract the moisture through. It's the wrong kind of stuff. I guess they didn't know when they built the house 150 years ago. So let's crack on. Right, so the top bit's off. I use this big hammer to get the biggest stuff off, and then I'll use the air hammer to clean up between the stones and that, because to be honest, that's a bit too brutal, and if you're not careful you can put big marks in the stone. It'll even smash them to pieces. It must weigh 10-12 kilos, that thing. It proper packs a punch, and it's not easy lifting it up there. So we get off what we can with that, and then the air hammer, which is much lighter. And one of the benefit of air tools, there's no electric motors or anything in them, so they don't weigh anything at all. And then we'll use that to clean it all up. So I'm just going to take 5 and then carry on. Right, so that's the bulk of it off. I say I'll get these other bits with the air hammer. It's very damp. As you can see, there's absolutely no dust in the air at all. It's like mud. Don't even know what it is. Look at it. It just. But at least now, as exactly the same in the little loo here, this wall will start. It'll dry out nicely and not give us a problem anymore. I'm guessing ground level is somewhere around here, and it's just at the top on the ground where it started to come through. I did actually on parts of it upstairs, I knocked off a lot of the old render that was on the outside, you know, because I don't know what that was either. And I say that the bathroom's absolutely perfectly bone dry. The loo is bone dry now. I've showed you before. So I think we'll probably try and let this dry off a little bit, and then get the air hammer on it. Yeah, happy days. I don't know if I explained things very well at all. What happens, you're never going to stop the water coming in, because this wall is underground basically, say from about here. So it's going to get wet behind it, it's going to come through it. There's no way. But as with all old stone houses, it doesn't matter. What happens with this stuff, whatever it is, a type, maybe a gypsum based plaster, I have no idea. It could even be mud and clay and stuff from the land mixed in with something. It gets soaked and clumps up and holds the moisture. Whereas if you use lime or lime sand mortar, it actually dries rock hard eventually. Takes a bit of time sometimes, but then it can breathe and it'll suck the moisture out, but it doesn't trap it in as a mud, like a paste. And you see that there, it's just it allows it to pass through, hence why the walls you know, all old houses, stone like this, should be lime pointed and lime rendered if you want them rendered. If you use cement, which I've seen quite a few people do on this, that acts as a moisture barrier. And what happens, it'll actually push the cement, the water moisture contained in the wall, because the cement can't breathe, or cement mortar, it'll actually push the cement off the wall. At best, at worst, it'll start breaking your stones up. You know, I've seen a lot of, especially if you live in an area that gets a frost on the outside, if you use cement, if the moisture will trap into the stones, and if it freezes, it can pop the fronts off your stones. So if you do up an old house, I know I'm going on a bit, and it's got stone, use lime, please. It's the only sensible thing to do. The next thing to do, of course, is get this lot in the skip. Right, okay, so we've got most of the muck shifted in the skip. We've got Chris is coming over from Tales from the Cave side, I mentioned before. We need to get this fridge out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to level a board on the floor here to stand it here, so we can get behind it to repeat the process over there. But I've got a wedge in here, a wedge that I put in when I built this to hold it where I wanted it. I can't get it out, and I can't put a board on the floor here with this thing stuck here. So I'm going to see if I can leave it up. Oh yes, there we go. And replace it with a stone. Crikey. Get it. Alright. Right. It stayed. This is what the old barrels used to sit on in the bodega. We only got two for some reason, but they're the best wedges you can get, and we use them all the time. Right, cool. Right, we wait for Chris now. Right, so after an epic struggle, we've moved the fridge. We've leveled the board on the floor. You can probably just see it on there. This floor actually slopes, probably something to do with being for animals, so they can swill it out or something somewhere. So we're a bit of a job, but we've got it packed up, we've got it level. It's fairly sturdy. It's going to live there for a little while, because now I can get in here. I'm not taking this, I'm going to leave this exactly where it is. We're going to posh it up in the future, make it look nice. The same with the washing machine, that's really good as it is, so we're going to leave that there. But I only need to get to this area behind here. We can sheet this off, get all that lot off the wall there, and then we can look at our window. This is the floor, obviously, where the fridge stands, and the soil pipe comes through and everything else. We're going to actually, because we concreted it basically, and it's not perfectly flat and level, so we're going to pour some self-leveling compound on that bit, just so we can to level it for the fridge. Then when the fridge go back in, it's got little wheels on the back of it, we'll just be able to wheel it back in. We'll say it was a bit of an epic struggle. Oh, a closer look. So this is the wall in question. Fortunately, another reason I don't need to move the washing machine, I knocked it all off the back before we put it in. I was up there for thinking that day. I just didn't do this bit. And again, as I said, we were in a hurry to get it all done. So all of this is coming off. Depending on how easily it comes off, we might do what we've done upstairs and leave a bit of a wavy. We're working on that one. And then one of our new windows is going in there. If you can see the head on that, it did have a big headstone across it that's cracked. I'm not sure. I think we're going to need to put a lintel in that because obviously we don't want it coming down. It's got a joist sat right over the top of it. Can you see the crack in it there? And I don't know how much that stone's infilled just to block up where a window used to be. It's only quite thin, but I don't know how much that's actually supporting it. So I've got another piece of steel, like we made the lintel over the back door, if you saw that video a week or so ago. I'm probably going to put a nice big steel painted black lintel above the window to hold our floor up. So that's where we're at the minute. In the morning I'm off to Humia to buy some self-leveling. I'm actually taking Chris with me because if you've been watching Tales from the Cave Side, I don't know where he's up to. I don't know if I should be giving anything too much away, but he's leveling, he's doing his tiling, and these floors is not how he wanted it to be, and he's got some big gaps that he's having to make up with the ground, so he's going to stick a lot more self-leveling in that. And I'm going to take them with the trailer because they've only got a car with no tow bar, and get our bit for down here at the same time. Kill two birds with one stone, as it was. So fantastic. Right, okay, we're back. We've been shopping this morning, man shopping. As I said before, I'm taking Chris from Tales from the Cave Side. You need a lot of bags of self-leveling. We needed a couple, so we thought we'll kill two birds with one stone. As you can see, it's not raining. It's a beautiful blue sky behind me. We also scored while we were out. It's amazing what you find when you're out and about. We've got a couple of pallets we'll break up for kindling. Some mince pie vodka, don't ask, and some more marble tiles, which we'll show you in a minute. But I think our plans have changed, and this job just got a lot bigger.
So Andy and Chris have moved the fridge. In order to do so, I moved the wine cooler that used to sit here, and then I just had so much more space, and I said to Andy, it'd be great if we could find somewhere else to put the wine cooler. So he said, but this is the coldest room in the house, there's no fire in here, makes sense to have it in here because when the summer, which is when we need it, we don't want it working overtime because it's heated in here as well as obviously the temperatures outside. So we were sat having dinner last night, as you do, and we're now thinking that we might keep the fridge here, and if Andy can continue this worktop along there, perhaps put me some doors on so I've got a nice storage cupboard. I've got lots of stuff. That might be a good idea. And then we can put the wine cooler in this corner, out of the way. So I've still got worktop here, I've still got all this worktop here. So, it's caused him a lot more work basically. I'm not sure whether I'm popular or not, but that's the plan. Remember the floor tiles that we're going to have down in the kitchen eventually? Lovely marble donated by Chris and Lillian at Tales from the Quayside. Well, they've got these as well, which are a much thinner version, but beautiful marble tiles. So we're thinking now we're going to use these as a splashback in the kitchen or in the utility. So obviously because when this is exposed stone, it's not going to be easy to keep clean if I'm cooking and things. So they're great, aren't they? So thanks again, Chris and Lillian. And this is their homemade mince pie vodka. I have no idea what it tastes like. Apparently it's best drank warm. So I might give that a go later and we'll let you know.
So, irrespective of whether we change our plans on this or not, this stuff's still got to come off the wall. Well, it's not coming off easily. Absolutely bone dry this side. I don't know if you can see on the camera there, but we've got some massive stones. Look at the size of that. Another one there, a big one there, goes right through. That's what we wanted to get to. That's the look we wanted to achieve. This one here is massive. Yeah, that's what we wanted to find. This window, we've got nice big clean side down here and what looks like a nice big clean side down there. But we're going to have to, because our new window is slightly narrower than that, so we're going to have to build up one side, but we'll decide which way, because it doesn't matter when we've got it all cleaned off. But yeah, it's just a bit over there now, and then this will need the air hammer, so we don't smash our lovely stones to pieces with the big shifter.
And you know what comes next? Andy makes the mess, I clear it up. Look at this lot. But I'm pleased with the result. It's going to look great when all this is off, all this horrible plaster, and get on with it. Stop talking and get on with it.
Anyway, unfortunately, or not as the case may be, we've run out of time, come to the end of another one, because my arm's absolutely killing from wielding that thing. It's a good workout. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching if you didn't quite make it this far, but you won't see this. If you have made it this far, please consider subscribing to the channel. It doesn't cost anything and it really helps us out.
Yep, so the rubble's gone. I just need to vacuum now. I'll crack on with that and we'll see you on Thursday.